What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with Tyler Perry's Sister Season 8, Episode 22, Season Finale, y'all. Before you walk out of my life, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and give Tyler his flowers and his writers, okay? Because they didn't miss with this one. I was like, oh, okay, okay. Anyway, so let's just get this started. So y'all, the episode picks back up with Sabrina. She's still talking with Calvin. She tells Calvin she wants to become a mom. Calvin was like, you'll be a great mom. We know, because Sabrina is all around great person. Okay, so he looks at her and he was like, it seems like you're not happy about it, because y'all know he knows Sabrina, and so they have a real friendship, like a real dialogue, as they are conversating. You can see the genuineness in their friendship. And so she tells him the situation about Rich's sperm, and then she tells him the situation about Damani. So Calvin tells Sabrina she's always put herself last, and to and to take her power back. He also tells her if Rich can't see that she had to do what she had to do, then he really don't deserve her. And I wholeheartedly agree, y'all. Okay. So he hugs her. And as they're hugging, because, it's just like a friendly embrace. And as they're embracing, Rich walks in. And at this point, y'all know this bastard get on my nerve. Okay. So, he was like, oh, am I interrupting something? And Calvin was like, you know what? He introduces himself to Rich like, hey, I'm Calvin. And they shook hands. And so he tells Sabrina, I'm going to leave. It was really good to see you. He give her a hug and then he leave. Now, I don't remember saying this, but Calvin looks really, really good. Okay. He looked good, so it was good to see Calvin. It really was. Anyway, Rich was like, Calvin, really? And it's just like, you're still coming in on the wrong footing, And so all of a sudden he had time to think, and he had time to process, and after not answering her calls, basically ghosting her. And so Sabrina was like, I was really hurt when you ghosted me. And Rich isn't understanding to Sabrina. He wants what he wants when he wants it. Okay? And when he doesn't get what he wants, he cry about it, and then he play in her face. That's the one thing I don't like about Rich. Like, he wants to be the stand-up good guy, but overall he not. And so I just don't like how he treats Sabrina. Like, he wants to pick her up and put her down when he feels like it. He's never understanding to her needs and what she wants, but he expects her to have that understanding for him. And y'all, I just honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I can't stand that, So Sabrina says, she tells Rich, I really wanted a good man. And she said that he wasn't acting like one. And once again, I might be biased, but I wholeheartedly agree. So he started to admit that he felt inadequate about not being able to have her sperm. But Sabrina was just like, all you had to do was have a conversation with me. It is just as simple as that. I think sometimes because people don't like having hard conversations, it causes a big problem, the lack of communication that a lot of people struggle with. And sometimes all it takes is just a simple conversation. I just didn't like that for Sabrina. I didn't like that because she is so deserving of a good guy. And this is not for me to say, the rest of them aren't deserving. I'm just saying, if we're just only talking about Sabrina, she is really deserving of a good guy. So, he asked her if anything happened, because he asked if anything happened between her and Damani down in Turks and Caicos. And she said that we got pretty close. And Rich asked how close. And so, the episode we go, it moves over to Fatima. So Fatima walks into Andy's office and she asks that they are both, she was like, hey, Andy, can I take your phone? And so Andy was like, yeah, what do you need it for? And so she was like, okay, I'm going to have to share your location and you can share mine. And she tells Andy that now that she's become partner, the target on her back is even bigger. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I wouldn't have never thought about that. And I think this is why I like the Fatima and Andy of it all, especially as it relates to professionalism, because she is really, an asset to Andy. So I'm sorry, she walks into Fatima's office and she tells Fatima, I really love Robin. She expressed to Fatima how she really feels about Robin. And so, no. I'm sorry, they were still in Andy's office. And so Fatima tells her that, she talked to Robin. Robin told her that he was leaving. And so, basically, she was like, well, what do you want? And Andy was like, basically, I guess she felt like she didn't want Robin. Y'all, I really forgot that part. All I know is the bottom line, at the end of the day, Fatima approved of the relationship. Not that she had to, but Fatima approved the relationship between Robin and Andy. But Andy believes that she's not relationship material. And I don't think it's the fact that she's not relationship material. It's just that Gary has become such a pain in her life, and she didn't stop it I will say that when it came to Gary had ruined a lot of her relationships because of his ways. And then we'll see how a lot of that has caught up with him, and that's no fault of his, but that's no fault except for his own. Okay. So, Sabrina tells Rich that her and Damani got close, but they did not sleep. Now, she didn't say sleep together, but I guess that's what they really was alluding to. So she told him, that nothing more happened. She says that she suggests that they should see other people. And she tells him, like, Rich, you really don't deserve a woman that's confused. So he runs out. He starts to cry. He was like, am I right? Or, he just runs out. And this is where, even though things isn't going in your favor, you probably still should want to be able to communicate your feelings. Yes, they are hurt, but you can't just walk in and out whenever you feel like it. You hurt this lady feelings. You get mad because she says something. You don't like anything. You don't like the things that she have to say, and you just run out. And this is just the poor behavior that Rich displays. Like, I am not saying you have to stand for anything anybody gives you. But what I will say is Sabrina has always displayed qualities of a good partner. Every time. And every time she displays those qualities, Rich has made it a point to shit on her. Even when it was about her. Even when it was about her having the kids and being able to do that. Like, you didn't want to do that, but you did it selfishly. You wanted to have kids selfishly. And only because you didn't want some other man to be around her, but you were the one, again, I have to keep bringing this up. You were the one who thought that this lady was trying to trap you. And you didn't want kids. You was adamant about that. But now, all of a sudden, just your whole tune changed. Y'all, why my skin look so dark here and it's so light? I don't know. Maybe it's the way I have my camera turned. Anyway, so y'all, Jordan has been released from jail, and once again, here goes Penelope trying to be thirsty. So she tries to kiss Robin. He declines because he knows he don't feel that way about Penelope. First of all, he don't even know her like that. But this is Penelope feeling insecure once again. You're insecure next to a woman who really high-key try to help you. But again, you didn't want the help. You wanted to be in your feelings. At first, you was okay with the help. But all of a sudden, it was like a light just switched. And so and again, oh, I'm sorry, that's what I wanted to say. She got mad because he wants Andy. Like, she felt the way. And she tells Robin, well, I just pray that she don't ruin your life like she ruined her brother's life. And at this point, I was just like, Penelope, get over it. I really hope at the end of this season, this is the end of Penelope. This is the end of Jordan, that whole trio. I cannot anymore. I cannot, because these men have operated like children. And it had annoyed me these past 2 seasons. So Andy tells Fatima, Andy goes into Fatima's office, and she tells her that she wants to try again with Robin. She says she wants to go after him. So Fatima didn't say nothing. She was quiet. So she was like, hey, say something. And Fatima was just like, you know what, go after your man. And she tells Andy that you deserve to be happy, and you should go get your man. And so Andy was on her way to the airport to go get Robin, to go meet him. And I think for the first time I was really okay with this relationship. I really was. And because I knew it wasn't introduced like that, because once again, at the time her and Robin was messing around, she was still messing with Gary. So Gary has come in between a lot of her relationships, but that's because she never emotionally, mentally, physically detached from Gary. So I think Jordan was that turnaround for her that allowed her to detach from Gary, but not quite, but mostly, And then I think once Robin left, Robin became more of out of sight, out of mind, until Robin came back. And it's like she had to face it, but she never technically faced it. So anyway, Fatima calls Karen and tell her, you didn't sign your contract. I have Aaron's signature, I have Pam's signature, but I don't have yours. So they agree for Karen to come over to the house so she can sign the contracts. Cool. So Andy gets in her car, and someone was in her back seat and used a cloth with the chloroform and the rag and the chloroform, put it over her mouth to knock her out. So I wasn't sure if that was Penelope. That was my first thought, because I looked at the arm. It was like a really small, dainty wrist. A small, dainty wrist. So I was like, well, maybe that's Penelope. I really thought that was Penelope. So I put in my notes, she was the only one with the skinny wrist. So I was just looking at the wrist. That's all. So anyway, Fatima arrives home, and Zach is still looking at the suspect board because they both don't believe Jordan did it. So Zach was like, I really got a feeling. I have a feeling. Now at this point, as he's looking at the board, I am thinking I did thought it was Miss Marie. So I was wrong. So girl, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. Okay, because I thought it was Miss Marie. So for Zach says it could be people. It's not the people on the board, but it could be people that we don't know. So Fatima goes into her phone. She shows him a picture of somebody, and Zach was like, "Ooh!" And so this is where we found out. I think Fatima, found that picture of said person. And so she takes her phone and she sees Andy's location is still at the office. And she would tell Zach, she was like, you know what? Andy left hours ago. Why is her location still showing at the office? So when they said that, my next thought was, I bet it was Jasmine that stabbed Gary and kidnapped Andy. I was like, Jasmine? And it was just like, it gotta be Jasmine. It gotta be Jasmine. Like, we had to bring her back in some way, one way or another. So, okay. Sabrina is telling Danny, she's on the phone with Danny. She's telling Danny what happened between her and Rich. And this is when we find out that that Danny and Tony did not break up, but they are still together. And I was just like, okay, no, this ain't it. So I guess for me, I can't believe that they were still together, because I'm thinking like didn't you just sue them and you gave him a ring back? You told him you didn't want to marry him. I guess when she did all of that in my brain, it didn't process that we are now a couple. It's, I need to think about it. I need space. I need time. We need to take some space from each other. That's what I thought. But I will say this. That pink dress was very beautiful against Danny's brown skin. That I don't know, it just gave her a more vibrant side because she's always wearing that black and white. So I love to see that pink on her. That was amazing. Even the outfit was beautiful on her. Anyway, Tony comes over to Danny's house and he looks really sad. Like, he got some bad news. So he's saying, come on, hey, we need to talk. And she was like, hey, we can eat sushi. He was like, no, we just really need to talk. So Zach pulls up into the parking lot of the law office and he doesn't see Andy's car. He tries to go into the door, but it's locked. So he notices the phone on the ground and he notices that it is Andy's phone. He picks it up and takes it over to... Now, I thought he was taking it to Fatima because he called her, but she didn't answer the phone. So Tony, we get back to Tony and Danny, and Tony tells Danny he was angry about the settlement. He said that the airline people, the board or whatever, whoever management over him was angry about the settlement, and they decided to pick a fall guy, basically. So they're shipping off, they want to ship Tony off to another airlines, but in Alaska. But this whole time, they never did anything to Leonard. So Leonard is still able to keep his job. He is still able to do those things and be disruptive. He hasn't been penalized for anything, the things he said, for the comments he has made over those past few months. And so I thought that was truly unfair. I really thought that was unfair. So anyway, Hudson walks into the pits of hell. Of course, I told y'all the pits of hell is Gary's office. And he pulls out a gun on Satan, aka Gary. Okay? So we find out that Hudson ain't really mad about being fired. But Hudson is mad at Gary. But then we realize Hudson isn't who he say he is. So apparently he knew Gary back in high school, and his name is Oswald Hudson, and Gary was a football player, so Gary and his friends bullied Hudson. We gonna call him Oswald because that's his name, okay? And so it was just a lot of trauma in that. So Oswald admits to Gary that every time I was feeding you that Coquiana, because he tells him you're a hard person to die. But my dad used to always say, "Oh, bad grass don't die." Like, I don't know what, it must be an old saying because my daddy used to say it all the time. And so Hudson admits, while I was feeding you that Coquiana, I was lacing it with fentanyl. I was like, wow. And then he was like, well, let me reintroduce you to somebody. And Jasmine came popping in the door, and I was like, I know the hell you lying. Jasmine, the last time we seen her, he pushed her off the parking lot, off the top of the parking lot onto a car. And then I didn't know she was in jail, but I don't know if she went to jail for pulling a gun out on Andy. I don't know why I thought that was, I guess that was after. So Jasmine, Gary, his memory. Okay, so let me say this. The whole time, I think a lot of us thought that Gary's memory was a lie, but it really wasn't a lie. Okay, so I'm going to give Gary his just due and say my bad. All right. So anyway, Gary is now starting to remember who Jasmine was. He also remembers that Jasmine, we found out it was Jasmine who stabbed him. Y'all, I want to say it was, at one point I was like it was Jasmine, but I was like, Tyler wouldn't bring Jasmine back. I just didn't see it. But then again, I thought it was Miss Marie. So I was like, Jasmine? Anyway, Gary is now starting to have flashbacks. So he flashed back to the time he pushed her. He flashed back to the time, y'all remember, Jasmine walked in on Andy and Gary. She shot Gary. It was some kind of, it wasn't like a gun. It was a gun, but it was like the bullets wasn't real. I don't know. Y'all remember when he went in there and Andy was under them covers and she was about to shoot Andy, but somehow Gary got the gun from her and they called the police. So let me say this, okay? Because I'm going to be a woman about mine. I just want to go ahead and apologize to Pernell for accusing her of stabbing Andy and for stabbing Gary and kidnapping Andy. Okay? My bad, sister. My bad. Because I'm sorry. Okay? Because it wasn't you. I just ain't like you, and I ain't like how you was coming off this season. So you look a little suspect. Okay? But that's water under the bridge, friend. Water under the bridge. Okay? So Jordan is drunk at the Jamba Juice. And he taking shots about freedom, and this and that. And I'm just like, sir, go home. At this point, he's butthurt. And that lady been trying to tell you, what I did for you, I did not do it to hurt you. But you kept listening to your sister. You kept allowing your sister to get in your head. And yeah, optics is everything. And I hate that he did lose everything due to all of this. But again, this doesn't fall on the back of Andy. She's partially responsible because she should have told you, but then she knew you was going to risk what you had going on to go after Gary, and she couldn't take that. So I'm not mad at her for, she was really trying to protect him, okay? And so at the end of the day, all of this goes, we're going to place this on Gary's doorstep. Again, everything is circling back to what Gary has done to people and how he has treated people and how he has hurt so many people. Like, you've hurt so many people, you don't even know who stabbed you. And the one person you wouldn't have never thought stabbed you actually came back and stabbed you, and it was your ex-wife. And then it was that one point where he was asking about his kids, and so she was like, you weren't worried about the kids. So I was like, Gary, your kids been gone for how many years and you ain't check on them? You really trifling, okay? Anyway, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all, listen. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of felt a little bit sorry for Gary, but I don't. Like 1%, okay? 0.0001%. I felt a little sorry. That's how much empathy I had for Gary, okay? The rest, you get what you deserve, buddy. So anyway, Penelope goes back and she puts Jordan in a car. I guess he got into an Uber and they sent him off. Because I thought she was taking him home. So I guess she puts him into an Uber and drives him home. Penelope goes back into the Jamba Juice to help Rich clean up. And once again, they are shitting on Sabrina and Andy. And I don't like it. Like, y'all mad. Like, she was anything like her friend and you won. No, Sabrina won. And if we really going to be clear, you end up winning. When Andy helped you get away from Gary. You actually won. But because you can't see past your pain and your frustration, you won't understand until you get past it that lady really did do you a favor. She did you a solid. So, he kissed Penelope. And then Penelope pushed him away. And then, of course, she kissed him back. Y'all know that usual. So, I was just like, y'all can have each other at this point. And they decided to do the nasty on the Jamba Juice table. And y'all did all of that. Didn't close the blinds. Didn't even lock the door. And at this point, Sabrina comes with his boxes. Now, I knew she had his boxes, but I actually thought she was gonna, I never thought that, I guess I didn't think about that Sabrina would actually come back to bring the boxes to him. And so she walk in, they're not noticing because they're on the couch getting it in. And Sabrina looked, she threw the box down. and she ran out. And I was like, okay, we can close this Rich and Sabrina chapter. Okay, when I tell you I am so happy about this, I hope Tyler don't write this back in, but I'm happy about it. Okay, so Karen is signing the papers over at Fatima's house, and this baby start to kick. Okay, she start to have contractions, and y'all, after 4 long seasons, 80 something episodes, Karen is going into labor. Because y'all, so Karen was like, I think my water broke. Fatima was like, not on my kitchen floor. Y'all, I don't care what nobody say. Fatima is still not, and she's still not happy about this situation, but she's dealing with it. She's dealing with it, okay? So, Robin, over back at the airport, Robin calls Andy, and he leaves her a voicemail. He left her a message telling her that he loved her, and he talks about wanting to spend the rest of her life with her. I mean, wanting her to spend the rest of his life with him, but he don't think that she wants it. But what he doesn't know is that she's been kidnapped. And so as he's talking on the phone, he's telling her how he feel the airport lights go out. And I was like, what is that about? That is so odd. And I was like, okay, maybe this is the opportunity for Robin to return. This is like another, Robin gets to return. So, we get back to the pits of hell, and Andy is being untied by Jasmine, okay? And she was like Jasmine? And we find out Jasmine and Hudson are in a relationship. And so we also find out, y'all remember when Gary, somebody went into that room and put something in Gary IV and he got worse? That was Jasmine. I was like, listen, you talk about karma. And I told y'all I was going to use my word, my colorful words. Less colorful. All right, but I got to use it. You were talking about karma circling back like a big old hoe. Okay? Karma spun the block on Gary. I was here for it. Okay? We know that he ain't going to see the error of his ways. Because it is still people like Hayden that is still around. Okay? So, she was just talking about, you're not worried about the kids and me and my man. And Hudson, as she's talking to Gary, Hudson is getting annoyed. You can see the look on his face of annoyance. And so he unalives Jasmine. And the funny part is Gary didn't even get up and was like, oh my God. He didn't have no remorse. None. He was just like, I said, my Lord. So then he had the gun pointed at Andy, and then he says to Andy, I'm sorry, not Andy. He says to Gary that he want him to feel the same pain he felt when Gary took Kimberly away from him. So Andy was like, Kimberly. So y'all remember, Andy found out that he did something to a girl named Kimberly back in high school. Andy told Penelope, but she also told Penelope not to say nothing, and she told Penelope that you need to leave Gary. I'm going to help you escape from Gary. But what did Penelope do? Penelope went to confront Gary, and he pushed her and hit her that she lost her baby. Remember? So that's why I'm just telling y'all just in case we don't remember who Kimberly was, it was the young woman that Gary did something to that Andy found out. And she actually, I thought she confronted him. as well, but then, he lied about it. So Zach then busts in the door. And so when Zach busts in the door, Hayden was like, okay, this is another person I can just unalive. But Gary gets up because Gary's not tied down. His arms are just tied down. So he gets up and what he had, he pushed, gets up, tackles, what's his name? Oswald. He tackles Oswald and they tussling with the gun. And then that's when Zach jump in and they're tussling with the gun. And then we hear 3 shots fired, and this is where the finale ended. I definitely was overwhelmed. This was good. This was amazing. I know sometimes we have hiccups with Tyler, but he did his big one. I don't know what kind of role he's on, but between the Beauty in Black, ending of Beauty in Black, and the ending of Sistas, this was what it was. So season 9 will start July 16th. So of course y'all have to come back so I can review season 9. When I tell you I was thoroughly pleased with this season, it started out a bit slow, but it picked up, and it kept picking up, and it kept picking up with the people they had on here this season. I'm just glad that Karen it's getting ready to have these babies. I do not want to see Karen. I would like to see Karen in the hospital in season 9. Have those babies delivered, okay? I don't know what could happen. I'm probably going to say the usual. Maybe Hudson will be the one that's unalived. But if y'all think otherwise, y'all please drop it in the comments and tell me what y'all think. And tell me what y'all think about this season in its entirety. I have to give it up for Tyler and his writers. Okay? This season was good. It was good to me. Okay? This who stabbed Gary situation, we carried this the whole season through and through. Man, I appreciate them for bringing back Jasmine. Okay? And I'm sure Miss Marie is going to return back next season. Please bring back Miss Marie. All right? Anyway, y'all, please be sure, if you didn't do it on your way in, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be notified and updated on every video that I drop. Y'all, please like up the videos. And if you just want to watch my review from episode 1, please check the playlist, click on it, and listen to my review from episode 1. This was good. I will see y'all July 16th. Tyler Perry did his big one. And one more thing. Tomorrow is Thursday. Look out for Family Business New Orleans and maybe episode 12 of Beauty in Black, because I want to finish it by the weekend. So I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye.